Hi, my name is Jonathan from the Boston Initiative. We're going to describe today how you will do your school action plan for teacher licensing. As we look at the Excel that you have received in the email and that is being described today, you'll notice that there are 7 tabs. There's a gray tab that's the guide for this document. Also, there are 3 green tabs, which is where you will enter information. Finally, there are 3 purple tabs, which are for display purposes only, and they are for your convenience. First, let's talk about the directions. You'll notice that the entire teacher licensing program and process is described in these directions, what you will be entering, how you will be entering it, and when. So we ask you to pay particular attention to these directions, and below there's also a timeline. For submission of your 25% of teachers that need to be licensed this year, KHDA has asked that you license them in monthly portions at 4% per month for the months up until up until May, and then in June also there's 5%, that adds to 25%. Another way some schools have chosen is to actually put all 25% in their first cohort. It is your choice as the building leader. Next, as we talk about the workbook itself, there were descriptions of the worksheets, which I've already given you, and there's an additional description of what you will be providing for inputting coordinators. We will discuss this briefly for you. So on the Input tab, you'll notice that there are 12 teachers listed there. Those are fake teachers. Please delete that information and put in your own teacher's information, Emirates ID, and each of the things asked for. So you'll notice that you'll be putting if they have a teaching role, a non-teaching role, that is a staff role, or a leadership role. You'll also notice that it asks, as I said, for their Emirates ID, for their job title in your school, and you'll be typing that in, and also the day and month and year of joining, what nationality and gender they are. In addition, you'll find as you scroll that there's a lot of information being asked for that you have to complete. Their native language, that is also considered their first language or their tongue, that is the language they speak most fluently, and a second language would be the one after that. The evidence of good standing should have a yes for all teachers that the principal is giving good standing to. And next, you'll notice additional contact information for teachers that you can list. Please make sure that's up to date. Next, you'll notice that the teaching role is being described in terms of which phase. So you'll list if the teacher is working in primary, in other words in kindergarten or primary, or in middle school or in high school. If you have a teacher that's working across phases, you can actually add that information there to describe that they work in multiple phases. Next, you'll be designating the type of license they have and in what area that license is, and as well if it's an international teaching license, and if so, where is it from? Next, you will describe their teacher preparation qualification, in other words, a Bachelor Ed or similar type qualification, if they have it, and whether or not they're under contract with you and they're being sponsored by you. It's standard for most teachers that they're sponsored by their school and they're under contract, so that those 2 areas will be easy to fill in. Next, you'll notice that it says PTL requirements, yes or no. The teachers you list as yes are the ones who are in your 25% who are going through licensing. And next, you notice the subject and qualification. These are both the qualification of the teacher and also the subject or subjects that they're teaching currently. And you notice it says specialization 2, and then the columns continue with specialization 3. A teacher may have multiple areas of specialization, and you list the one that is most prominent first. Next, we go to the coordinators. In schools where there are 50 or fewer teachers, there will be one TELS coordinator. This can be full-time staff, this can be an administrator, this could even be a teacher who has significant capacity that they can work as a coordinator as well. If your school has more than 50 teachers, you need to nominate a second TELS coordinator, and that goes up to 100 teachers. Also, for bigger schools than that, there's space on this document to list additional TELS coordinators for amounts above 100 teachers. Next, you'll notice in the plan that there's only a small amount of information that's being asked of you it is the notes column right here. So you are going to describe to KHDA if you have not been able to fulfill the requirements, which in the month of January will be 4% of your teachers going to licensing, in February 4%, and so on and so forth up to May, and then June. If you're able to meet these requirements and put forth your 25% of teachers, then you do not need to add a note. That area is only to be completed if you haven't been able to meet their target, and you're stating the reason why. And below in this document, you'll just notice that it's just a list of information for your reference. The 25% of your teachers will be done each year. This concludes the description of your school action plan, and it will be due at the date designated by the KHDA. Thank you very much. We're so happy for the work that you're doing for students in Dubai. Thank you.